Good evening. It's a very short presentation about the book that I had written almost 3-4 months back. And the book was written because I was posted there in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. As you all know, that's a very difficult area and very difficult to reach to other islands. It's an archipelago of almost 580 islands. And the population is confined to only 31 of these. But since I was posted there, so also I had a chance to go and meet people and cover all these areas. What fascinated me is that there's a tremendous history of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And unfortunately, we never come to know about the history of Andaman Islands, especially when British came and small incidents which actually molded and guided the entire contours of the habitation there. I was very fascinated to read somewhere that it was never meant to be a penal colony. And what it meant is that the cellular jail, which is the most prominent iconic structure which is there, was never meant to be there. And so I was very curious that why it was built and why it turned into a penal colony. And most of you, all of you who have visited Andamans, you must have noticed that the Andaman Sea, Bay of Bengal, is absolutely, waters are absolutely pristine. It's turquoise, virtually turquoise. But it is called Kala Pani. And Kala Pani only because it was converted into a penal colony. And so I thought that why not to name the book as When Turquoise Waters Turn Dark, as the imperial history of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So I have a presentation. Is the presentation ready? We can put it up here. I have only photographs, so I have not put too much of text. There are many photographs, and through the photographs I'll try and explain, and since time is very short, so I'll just rush through. Is it up? Okay, so we can wait. So as I was talking about the history of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, it was not the British who came first there. It was basically Danes, people from Denmark. They came first in the Nicobar area, but they could not. And the main purpose of visiting Nicobar area was to convert people into Christianity. But despite 5-6 missions, not a single person got converted. And all these missions failed. And if you see the demography of Andaman and Nicobar, there's two sets of islands. It's totally distinct. The northern set of island has original Negrito tribes, and Nicobar Islands have Mongoloid, Nicobarese and Champins. So characteristically also they're totally different. They never ever mingled probably in the history. And even in the northern part of Andaman tribes, you'll find that you're up. Okay, so the presentation is there. This is the cover of the book, and it's been published by Penguin. So the book has 6 chapters, and it covers the history from 1788 to 1947, almost the British period. And in between, Japanese came and they stayed there for almost 3.5 years. So it covers that also. It has 229 pages, 120 large format pictures, and also a chapter on the original inhabitants of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You all must have heard about the centenarians. I'll briefly cover that also. 3 phases. The history there, 89 to 1796, when the East India Company came and settled there. Then, but it was for a very, very brief period. And I would like to dwell upon that period slightly more, because it's very, very fascinating. Hardly 7 years of settlement there. Then there was nobody there. Then only after 1857 they all came, and till 1947 they were there. Early historical accounts, the people, Marco Polo and others, they visited that area. They said that people look like cyclopes. They have only one eye. So all fantastic parables about the inhabitants and the way they depict it in their literature is absolutely ridiculous. And then when the British decided to actually come to Andamans, then there was a great debate that what is there in store for us? Is it a blessed landscape which can offer us all kinds of commodity that we are looking for, like sulfur or other minerals, or it is full of volcanoes, and this is actually active volcano of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And it is also slightly fortuitous because when I was putting in fact, I wanted to see what is there in the crater. When I put my drone there, then it erupted all of a sudden, and I have to take my drone back. And they were debating whether it's full of bogs and pestilential marsh. So should we go there or not? So they spent tremendous time actually debating among themselves whether they should go to Andaman and Nicobar Islands or not. Finally, after lots of deliberation, a 27-year-old chap called Archibald Blair, I'm really fascinated by that character. He was entrusted with the job that you go and survey the entire area. And he meticulously surveyed. He himself, actually, he drawn some paintings also. And in the free time, he used to do hydrography of the area. He selected a very tiny island. It was called Mark Island. Later, it was christened as Chatham Island. And so he came back, he submitted a report, and immediately Government of India told him that go and make a settlement there at the Chatham Island. This is the Chatham Island at present. And so, but what happened after the settlement took place? Lord Cornwallis's brother, his fleet of ships were moving on the northern part. So he said that, one island is better than the current Chatham Island, so you shift the entire settlement there. And within 4 years, they shifted. In fact, Blair also did not resist. And within 4 years of shifting to a new place, there was an outbreak of some disease which they could not understand, and half of the population got decimated. So they had no other choice but to go back to India, and for 60 years, there was absolutely nobody in Andaman and Nicobar Islands except for the local inhabitants. And then, so it was abandoned in 1896. So when, after 1857, and all those who are familiar with the Indian history, they know that after 1857, they incarcerated many revolutionaries, and probably the Indian jails did not have enough sufficient space to keep them. So they were looking for other jails or penal colonies all over Southeast Asia. And so you have in Sumatra, Bencoolen, and in Molme, in Burma, and Penang, all these places they were looking for. And then they decided that we'll go to Andaman and settle up and make a penal colony. So the next history starts from a small island called Ross Island. So it is just next to Port Blair, 15 minutes sailing. And the imperial phase starts from 1858. First thing they built after reaching there in that tiny island is that lighthouse, 11-meter tall lighthouse. Couple of churches they built, Anglican and Catholic Church. Catholic Church, there's no remnants now, so only Anglican Church without roof is there. And then they also built a garrison, and it was modeled on the Windsor Castle. And you'll find very fascinating anecdotes by the Home Secretary that time, Mackenzie, who visited there. He has made copious notes about this garrison. They also had this water purification system, and it used to run on wood because there's no dearth of wood there, and so it's a huge thing which is still there. They had a printing press. They have a small electric station also. So it was, in fact, the first electric station was built there at the Ross Island. A ballroom for all the officers to dance and and enjoy the evening. It is in ruins now, but Government of India has decided, and this is being restored. This will be restored very soon. Then there are residential spaces for subordinate officers, which you can see. It's a very tiny island. You can cover it in almost 2 hours, walking on foot. And while you come down, then you'll see that later they built some residences for the revolutionary, because they used to bring them there, keep them there for a few days. And they used to say that once we soften them, then we send them to cellular jail and other places. As they decided that this is to be absolutely a penal colony, so the mind was not upon building it as a naval colony, naval settlement as such. And so later, interestingly, all the convicts who were brought here, they were not kept in any jail as such. So in 1858, when they were brought here, they were not kept in any jail. And the condition was not that bad. But later they realized that it's hardly a jail. The entire thing is like a labor camp. So we must have a jail. And so in 1896, they decided that the cellular jail should be built here. It was modeled on a jail existing in erstwhile Madras, Chennai. And it has something called panopticon, where the 7 radials would come out of a single column, and every column would look the backside of other column. So they could not converse. Another very frightening jail was this, a jail on Viper Island. There was a gallows, which is the only structure still surviving. And it was infamous for a chain gang. So all those reprobate convicts who were brought here, they were, in fact, many convicts were chained together, and they used to work in daytime, and also they used to sleep with that chain itself at night. And later, when the cellular jail was built, then they disbanded this jail. This people tree that you see, it was there when the jail, the entire idea was, in fact, I'd taken it a couple of years back, but when the idea was conceived, that people tree was still there. And as you all know, that this jail is also famous for Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, because he was kept there, and from 1911, and he was incarcerated in Nasik conspiracy case. He was brought here. British were very scared of him, very, very scared. So unlike any of the prisoners, he was not allowed to go out in the jail premises itself. In fact, very coincidentally, he met his younger brother after 2-3 years. He didn't know that his younger brother is still here. And his cell, if you go and visit, is next to the gallows. So that if somebody is given capital punishment, then he can hear the cries of that person. Then there was a brief period, 1942 to 45, and it started in March 1942 when British, in fact, 2 British ships were sunk by Japanese, and they also captured Burma, Myanmar now. So then the British realized that they have no option but to leave this place, because this is the next target for the Japanese. Japanese came there, but the British have an absolutely fantastic system of espionage. They knew that when their supply ships are coming, when all the ships carrying all the armaments are coming, and they used to precisely bomb those ships. So within few months or within a year, there was tremendous scarcity of food there. The people were going hungry. In fact, the food was not available even for the Japanese soldiers. So they started suspecting all the locals that they are spies. And the kind of persecution which started that time was phenomenal. It was 3 years of absolutely dark age. Darkest age probably in the Japanese times. And these are some of the bunkers which were built. They did not have bricks, so they broke some of the radials of the cellular jail, and they built these bunkers. Then on the Nicobar, the southern group of islands, Nicobar, which is also very close to the trade route. There you have, as I told you in the beginning itself, the two different tribes, different from the northern tribes, they live there. And this has been, now this is Indira Point, the southernmost point of India. After the tsunami of 2004, this lighthouse has gone inside the sea. These all photographs of Nicobar. This is Chowra Island. And also there's a very fascinating history of this place. So there was a person called Horace Mann. He came here. He realized that he can't stay here with his troops. So he said that, okay, fine, we have to create some agents in these places. The agents were given 4 things: a certificate, a red color livery, a Union Jack, and a Bible. So the instruction was that whenever you see an enemy ship coming, then you simply unfurl the Union Jack. And in World War I, a lady, Queen Islam, she was given all these 4 things. A German battleship was approaching. And then she ran and she hoisted that flag. And after seeing the flag, the German ship went back. And she was, in fact, she was given additional title by British. Now, the most intriguing aspect of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands is the tribes of Arunachal, because they are Andaman Islands. They are not, you are not allowed, or common person is not allowed to go and interact with them. The first one is Jarwa. They are the most numerous tribe, almost 600 in number. They always fought British. They fought British and they never reconciled with British. And that's why probably the number is the highest at present. What the Anthropological Society is trying to do is that they are working on the language, and some books are being prepared. And this boy is studying in one of these schools which has been set for him in his own habitat. So after the school, you can see that the fascinating way in which they play in the nearby sea. They also hunt the crocodile, they hunt the turtles. Yeah, so second tribe is Andamanese. They were the most numerous to begin with. Probably they have 10 septs in the beginning, but later, because of pestilence and also interaction with British, they had syphilis and all kinds of problem. And that's why at present there are hardly 50 Andamanese left. They have also adopted the modern way of life. Some of them are in government service. Please don't take photographs. I'll request you not to take photographs of these tribes because the special permission is required for this. Then there is Ongays and Sentinelese. Sentinelese, as you all know, that 700, almost from 3 hours sailing from main Port Blair, you get to see that North Sentinel Islands where nobody has reached. Few years back, there was a person, a Jesuit from America, John Allen Chow. He went there, and he also could not survive. So nobody has survived so far. There's hardly any interaction. Few people have gone there. And I was reading one of the accounts of Alan Pandit, anthropologist. He's gone there in 1970, and he has interacted with them. But after that, I don't think anybody has gone there. There was a lady I've heard who's gone and spent some time there with the Sentinelese. Then you have, in southern part, you have Shompenes. They're Mongoloid. And there are 2 groups of Shompen, one who lived in forest area, other in seaside area. And the forest area Shompens, they are quite aggressive. The seaside is pretty nice. Then in other islands of, southern group of islands, you have Nicobarese. First 2 is Nicobarese, and third is Onge. Ongays is also a Negrito tribe which is living there. Then, in modern times, what happened that the British policy of also settling people there, you have all the faiths, and in fact, that's a true melting pot that you see the inter-religion, inter-caste marriages taking place. You have lovely temples, churches, you have mosques, everything built there. And still people intermingle with themselves. And inter-caste marriage, inter-religion marriage is very, very common. This is the Tamil group who pursue their own practices and culture. So this was the book in nutshell, very difficult to explain that what all is there. But I have tried to capture that all 6 chapters, what all is there in the book, and the historical aspect of the entire thing. I think if you have any question, we can take few questions.
Hi. I just wanted to know, these photographs have been taken by you?
Yes.
Wonderful. Amazing.
Thank
so beautiful.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, so French were there in 17. There was 2 person I have heard the name. I can't pronounce them. Faurer, Faurer, and there was these 2 missionaries were there in Nicobar areas in 1711, and yes, and they were there to convert, but I don't think they could have any success.
How do you see the development in Port Blair and surrounding areas with the coming up of international airport, and tourism is now growing up at a very rapid scale? So how do you see now this preservation of these islands is required, or development is required in that?
No, certainly development is required, obviously. But if you have visited Andaman and Nicobar Islands recently, you must have seen that unlike any of the beach destinations, and I'm talking about all beach destinations of the entire world, this is the area which is kept quite pristine. And even if the development has taken place, it has taken place in a very, very regulated manner. And even now, even the international flights have started operating now from Port Blair. There is a very, very conscious approach towards the fact that how much of tourism is to be opened up, to which areas they are allowed to, what kind of activities are permitted, and so that the ill effects of blatant tourism which happens in any of these destinations are not allowed to happen here. Time is up. Thank you so much for hearing me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Keshav Chandra ji, for this enlightened tour to the beautiful islands set in that azure and turquoise waters. So as from all of us here, a big thank you. Thank you. And